Hello and welcome back to the Freedom Network. My name is Troy Colmer, and we are building the most powerful 21-day mind enhancement program on the planet. Our main mission is to help you to become self-empowered and limitless. So today I have my good mate here, Geoff Kate. We've been friends for a long, long time. So Jeff's going to be on the podcast weekly. Sorry. He's going to be our weekly guest because he has a wealth of knowledge and has done a lot of work in this field of manifesting and health and just all that stuff all around. So as you can see by all the books in his background, he's probably done way more involved than me because I actually like things simple and Geoff likes to complicate things. But I did try and tell him that there is an easier road and you don't need to complicate all that, but he likes the complicated journey, and but it's been a good journey for him. So remember that if you want to fast track your empowerment, you can join up at the freedomnetwork.io to our 21-day program. So today we're going to be discussing with Geoff his journey on food, how he empowered himself to overcome all his, what would you call them, Geoff? Ailments, yeah, whatever, and to get off his medications and things. And so, what we did at the very start, though, before he starts, we actually did some beliefs to get off all that stuff, and did a few balances and things. And so, but you have to remember that just because we do the balance and create the new belief, remember it's just the apple seed. So the apple seed must turn into the apple tree, but you have to plant the apple seed. You have to plant it. And then you can't just plant it anywhere. You've got to plant it in the right environment. So the environment's got to be right. And then so there's all these things that you have to do to make sure that this apple seed is going to grow into an apple tree. And so, so I just want you to be aware it's magic, but it's not magic. All it is the start. It's the very start of the process. What do you think about that, Geoff?
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. We initially did some balances to a couple of health issues that I had developed over a number of years, obviously around about 35 years old. I initially got Ross River fever and Barmah Forest fever from mosquitoes in Queensland, and that sort of set my path.
Mate, this is why you don't live in Queensland.
It's too sunny.
Oh, mate, you've got too many mozzies.
Sorry,
mate. Continue.
Yeah, no. So obviously, back to that first bit. Yes,
yeah.
We planted an apple seed with the processes that you use.
No, please go back to the how you had the Ross River fever, because that really knocked you around for a long time.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, about 35 years old, I got Ross River and Barmah Forest fever at the same time.
Sorry, what was the second one?
Barmah Forest.
What's that?
Oh, something like Ross River.
Oh, right.
Both from, and they're not sure how I got them both at the same time, but when it started out, I can sort of remember exactly the process of how it came about. We went to Tin Can Bay, which is a lot of mud flaps, a lot of mangrovey sort of area, and it's a lot of natural bush forestry. So there is a lot of mosquito in the mosquitoes, marsh flies, all that sorts of things in that area. So 2 days later, I had a really sore foot. My right foot was really sore. It was like I was trying to start the motorbike, Kickstarter, barefoot, and I know you know what that's like. But that's how the symptoms started. I had a sore foot. I went to the doctor. They did some tests, and they've come back and said, you've got Barmah Forest fever and Ross River fever. And 3 days later, obviously they programmed that in your mind. 3 days later, I couldn't walk. I couldn't put any pressure on my feet to walk from the bed to the bathroom. So in the first week, I used to bum slide to the toilet. I'd get down on my back and I'd slide to the toilets. Same, it was in my feet mainly, my feet, my knees, and my hands. I couldn't.
Is it like gout? Is that what gout is? The same sort of thing?
I think so. It's a swelling of the joints.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really swell too much.
Why does it start in the feet? Is that normal for it to start in the feet, or?
I think the extremities in the joints,
Oh, right.
joints of your body, and my hands, I couldn't close my hands more than just bending my fingers. I couldn't
Wow.
squeeze pliers, and that went on. That progressively got worse with fatigue. So fatigue was a major part of it as well. So sore joints, sore feet, and really a lot of fatigue. I would sleep from 8 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning. I would bum slide to the toilet, and then I would go to the lounge and I would sleep all day. And that went on for a month,
Wow.
nearly a month. And being self-employed, I went through the insurance thing, and but I had about 2 months where I was really affected, and then probably on month 3, the fatigue, and I could start using my hands again. So it took a good couple of months before I could do things back to normal, and then from there, the fatigue slowly dissipated. But obviously, you read more into these things. The fatigue come around every year around when summer come. So every time you started getting humid and really hot weather, the fatigue would increase for me. And as I did the research, that was a pretty common factor. So, and for a lot of years after that, my body was really depleted of its usual healthy ways. My immune system was not working properly, and that led to further things happening within myself. My appendix burst. My tonsils got so bad that I had to have them removed. Well, that's what I was told anyway. Then following that, I started getting a little bit chubby around the stomach, more fatigue. I gained an extra chin, and those sorts of things. Those sorts of things sort of came around.
I remember you looking like the Michelin Man. It was quite good.
And it was really only in those areas. It was belly.
So what? So you're getting back to your appendix. What did you have to get them out, or what happened there?
Well, they got an infection in my appendix, and they sort of swelled up, and they did all their things. So I went to the doctor, and they've sort of said, "Oh, this is really bad. You're going to have to go in for emergency surgery because the white blood cells, and the platelets were at a certain level where they said, your appendix are going to burst." And they burst just prior to the operation. So the keyhole surgery was not so keyhole, and that was a really painful experience because they did burst. The operation went well, but again, that took its toll. And post the appendix and the tonsils, in amongst all that, my immune system and chronic fatigue got to a point where I couldn't seem to get out of it. I was sort of not eating properly still, so I was just back on the usual diet, meat and veg and fast foods and things like that. And then it progressed to another symptom, which then I went and got tested, and the belly fat and the chins came about with a thyroid problem. I developed an underactive thyroid, which probably came in over a few years, but ever since the Ross River and Barmah Forest, over the next 2 years, I reckon it was every 6 months something happened. Like the appendix was 6 months, then my tonsils, then the thyroid. And we sort of got all that under control by going on to thyroxine. And I was on a pretty high dose of that because it was very underactive. So, and we'll get to how the tablets sort of then change your body into not producing any more of those things. And then the last sort of thing that came about was I still had a lot of fatigue, even though I was on my appendix was all good, my tonsils was fine, even though I didn't have the use of those anymore to function in the body. The last one was testosterone, and because I'd sort of lost a bit of faith in the doctors. Every time I'd go there was just do all these tests, and they'd come up with something. So I went to the doctors, and they did all these standardized tests, and they said, everything, all your bloods are okay, your vitamins and all that, it's all in a acceptable level, probably, running at 60, 70%, but within that zone. So I started doing a lot of research on men's health because I just couldn't seem to get away from the fatigue. And testosterone came up as a big problem in men from 40 and up. And at the time I was 37, I think. And I went, oh, look, I'm going to...
Last week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't have an age,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
it was. So I did a lot of research on it, and I didn't fit the description of what low testosterone was, because usually the things were, if you're muscular, if you were hairy, your libido was good, and for me, I'd like to say I'm muscular, although I've dropped a little bit of weight now. Apart from my head now, I am a hairy sort of person, hairy chest, and my libido, I've never really had a problem in my life with that. So I sort of almost ruled that out, but I thought, I'll go to the doctor and say, I think I've got a testosterone problem. And he said, your physical symptoms don't relate to that. But he said, all right, we'll go to the endocrinologist and do some tests. And I think the level was supposed to be between 17 and 27 for healthy testosterone. And mine was on 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
3?
3.
Jesus.
Which was really, and they've sort of come back and went, wow, that's a heavy level to be well under. Some people are just under, some people are just over. And again, my body didn't reflect that visually or the other aspects. So it's not something the doctors were going to look for. And because I put the work in and looked.
Did you go to Dr. Google?
Well, back then, yeah, I sort of, yes, it was Dr. What goes wrong with men when
How good's Dr. Google? What? I don't even know why we even need a sick care system. We just go to Dr. Google and sort it out ourselves.
How did we get away 20, 30 years ago without it? I don't know. But
yeah.
And you can, and again, the doctor's got 3 minutes of your time to say, let's do this, let's do that. And
they're only interested in clicking your card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I put the effort in, and we did that. And I, post that sort of 2-year period after Ross River, I was on thyroxine, which an average dose is between 50 and 100 milligrams. I think I was on 120, and my testosterone. You could do a couple of various things like rub creams on your leg, or you could get the injection. And the injection was the quicker and probably better option. So I went straight into getting a jab in the buttocks area every 10 weeks. And that was initially really good because, it's like a steroid.
Yeah.
I got that, and week 1 it would taper in, and then week 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd be, live, and I'd be really good. Week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then about week 8, I sort of always felt this downturn.
Yeah.
Because your body sort of absorbs it, takes a hold of it, uses it, and then it sort of starts to run out. And then I sort of got between week 2 and 8 value out of it. But it was I'm a bit of a girl with nothing wrong with girls getting needles, but getting the injection was quite painful every 10 weeks, and I never looked forward to needles and stuff. So that was how I ended up. So I was medicated on 2 medications, one every single day for the thyroid, and the other one every 10 weeks for my testosterone. And it made a difference, but not really. Like I wasn't jumping out of my skin. I wasn't this madly alive person because my diet was still the same. I was just on medications that your body and humans aren't really supposed to get from external sources, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I caught up with you some years later, because I was on that for about 10 years. Yeah, it was probably about 8 years I was on it before I caught up with you, and we did those balances. And I remember the balances that we did, because I'm in the same room that we did the balances. Yeah. And they were, I have a healthy testosterone level of 17.
Yeah.
We picked. And I think the other one's wording was, I have an active working thyroid system that provides me good health. It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
It was quite that long. But and we did those balances, and we put the apple seed into place.
Yeah.
If that's the way you'd like me to describe.
Yeah. Perfect.
So we put 2 apple seeds.
So what it does when we do the balance, right? It chops off the old. So we have to imagine that we've got our folders, and so we're always bringing the past into the future, and then comes back to our now. So it's like a circle. So the past goes into the future and comes back to us. And so what it does when you change the program, or it chops off the Wi-Fi signal to that past. And so then it can't get pushed through into the future. Or if it does, it weakens because there's no connection there anymore to it until it becomes nothing.
Yep.
And that's why so what that does, that allows for that new program to be built. Yeah. So it's just like installing a new program on a computer, and we're deleting the old program, but the old program is still there for a certain amount of period while on the changeover. It's like because remember everything's a circle, and so it's all like a ball because it's part of the flower. So it changes over like that.
Yeah. Well, back then, I was pretty green at this, and you sort of come up with this very quick, effective solution. But at the time, I had not much prior knowledge of it. So for me, the way I went from there was to let go of everything and just have complete and utter faith.
Didn't you? Yeah, because you just said, no, I'm not taking nothing anymore. Didn't you just stop cold turkey?
Yeah. Well,
I said, oh shit, mate, you better go and speak to the sick care professional. And, I think you meant to wean off these things. Nah, that's it. No, I'm done. I've already got 17. I'm 17 testosterone on this. Yeah. I said, oh, what's up to you?
Well, I found that
that's definitely the way to go.
That's a much more effective way to go, because if you have any doubt, it won't work, because you find a way to not do things.
Yeah.
And I've worked that out over the past 6 or 5 years that when you have definite purpose, and faith, and that's the way it is now, and that's the way it is.
Yeah. You have to have full belief.
Yeah. So, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I just went, you know what, that's it. I'm going for it. So you planted an apple seed, or you did a balance, or put a new program in of that. My body produces 17 milligrams of testosterone at any one time of any test. So I went in with it, and I think for the first couple of weeks, because it was around Christmas time, I'm sure, that you're up here. And I think the 1st of January, I thought about it and I went, right, that's it. Today's the day. I'm not taking the thyroxine anymore, which I was up to about 175 milligrams a day then. And the injections, I thought, I'm not taking anymore. And I didn't really repeat that balance that we did a lot. It's like I did it, and this is probably the best way to do it. Program it, set it into place, and then leave it into the ether to do its thing. Because I think the more you think about it, sometimes, you sort of go back to reassure yourself, but having faith that's how it is. I can move on. And then the flow and effect of the taking action, that's when mine started.
Yeah. And because once the program's set, you don't have to go back. That's it. So once it's done, that's it. That's the end of it. Like it's already there. So all you have to do is go, okay, then. It's just like, when we're saying about, I want to go Sydney to Brisbane.
Yep.
I just type in Brisbane, and then you don't go, oh, I wonder if I'm going to get there.
Yes.
You just go, oh no, I'm just put it in, and then I just follow the road, and then I hop in the car and drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're in. You're on your way.
Yeah.
And then exactly that analogy there of how the apple seed becomes the apple tree. For me back then, it wasn't so clear. It is very clear now from, reading and learning and listening to you and following those processes. I went off everything on the 1st. And I think back then you and I were in discussions, and you said you should get your bloods tested. And I think I just had a test not long before when I was on the medications. So on the medications, the levels were pretty good. I think testosterone was around 12 on the medication, and thyroxine was 7 or 17. It was in the right bounds. Like everything was just good in about the middle of the road. Like it wasn't really, low. So that was the test on them. And then I went back. I didn't go for another year because I just had the tests.
No, you told me, you go, no, I don't need to go back.
Yeah.
I had to convince you. I said, mate, you really should get a check. Like, it's just like the car. We've got to check to make sure that we're on the right road.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing the right thing. Nah.
I think it was a year, and you encouraged it. So I found a new doctor, and they were. Oh no, I went back to my normal doctor first because I've had 2 tests. I've only had 2 tests in the last 6 years.
Because they got upset with you, didn't they? That you went off them. No, you can't go off those. This is critical. I remember you saying.
I was good. It was because I went and seen my usual doctor. He wasn't. He was just a normal doctor. So I got all the blood tests. Went back in. He's gone, mate. Everything looks really good. Your testosterone levels are well within the zone, and your thyroxine. There's 3 levels of your thyroid. There's this, and that. And he said, the signal coming to telling your body to produce more of it. He said that's probably a little bit high, so that means your body's saying produce, but your body's actually producing enough. So even that didn't raise any alarm bells. And he said, I think you should stay on 175 milligrams, and every 10-week injection. That seems to be working really well. And I said to him, that's funny because I haven't taken anything for a year. And he went, look back at the results, and he went, what do you mean? I went, well, I haven't, look at my script. I haven't filled 1 script. I haven't had 1 injection for 12 months. And he sort of looked back at the results and went, but it's all in really good order. So I don't understand what you're saying. And I said, I haven't taken anything. And he goes, well, you better start taking stuff because, you could die. You just told me my levels were really good, and I've got to get back onto something that I haven't taken. What are you on about? And he goes, well, as your doctor, I think you're mad. I think you've got to take these tablets. You've got to take these injections, otherwise you can get really sick. And I went, well, I'm not really sick. I'm actually optimum health. And I just went about my business and didn't think about it again. Thought it was a bit of a joke, the doctor system. And nothing against the doctor system. I'm sure that they have good things. They are probably a good interim until your body can get itself sorted out, maybe. And then I sort of stumbled across this other doctor about a year later, because I think you'd said something again. It'd be interesting to see how it's going. And this doctor was a vegan. She was a Canadian lady. Really good ideas. I really warmed to her pretty quickly with the way she was speaking. Again, did the tests, told her that I hadn't had any tablets and stuff for 2 years, and she was, wow, this is really good. Let's see what the results were, and they were nearly identical to the 1 year before.
Yeah,
and and then post that, I thought about it every now and again, just for statistical purposes, to say, well, this is how it's traveling.
Yeah.
But I went back to the old way of saying, well, why do I need to go there and get that done when I'm fine?
Yeah, yeah.
And that to me is that, well, there's a hint of doubt. Should I just check it, or do I have complete faith and just get on with it? And that's what I chose. I don't know if it's the smartest way to go about it, but I just went,
I always, every year I go and get a blood test done, and
I might go and get one just to see,
just to check. I like to make sure, because you don't know, you might be low in some little thing here and there, but all my levels are like perfect. But the last time I went to see our sick care professional, he's sitting there with his big fat turtle belly, and I'm pretty lean and in pretty good nick, and because I'm plant based, I don't eat meat, and he says to me, he goes, so you don't eat meat? I said, yeah, that's right, mate. Because I tried to just go and get a blood test by myself, because I said I don't need the sick care professional in the middle to get I can have a look at it and go, oh, well, if I'm lowering something, then I've just got to take that one vitamin to get higher.
Yep.
That's the way I see it. Anyway, you got to go there, and you got to go see the turtle belly, and then you go around the corner, and then you got to go see someone else and get all the needles. Then you have to go back to turtle belly, and he has to give you the results.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting there, and then he goes, so you don't eat meat? I go, no, mate. He goes, how long you haven't eaten meat for? I said, I don't know, 5 years. And then he says, well, I don't know why your iron's so good then. And I feel like saying, well, mate, I don't know why you got such a big turtle belly. I was thinking, but what he doesn't ask any questions. Didn't say, "Oh, look, what do you do? What are you eating for your iron?" Or nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't know. And then and said, "No, all your stuff's all perfect. Yeah, no, there's nothing. So on your way."
Well, you've got to look at doctors and
Oh, but I just find it so annoying. I'm just thinking, like, really, mate, like you are not a picture of health.
yeah.
You know, I'm trying to do everything I can for my health. You're doing zero for your health.
Yeah.
And
Well,
but
they're
yeah,
not, they're not
you're
really.
willing to have a dig at me.
They're reactive. They treat a problem with a temporary measure instead of prevention, and now that's where I think doctors should be
Well, they
going.
don't look at the cause of the problem.
Yeah.
Is the issue.
Yeah, and they just treat what's in front of them with something that I look at is just a temporary measure to.
Yeah, like a Band-Aid.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And I think doctors need, and I think there's more of it now. People and doctors are looking at how they can prolong their life and have the longevity of health, so you don't get to 60 and have to take 5 different tablets like a lot of people do. Prevention and longevity is.
Yeah, they're hard to find though. They're so hard to find, the actual sick care doctors that actually want you to be in good health.
Yeah.
Do you know down here now, the Lisa that works with me doing all this Freedom Network stuff, her daughter was really sick. Like she got the flu, and so it was really cool. So she rings up the sick care professionals, turtle bellies, and no, yeah, you got a cold, have you? Yes, that's right. We need to come see you. No, if you've got a cold, you can't come in.
Yeah. So
I go, hang on, aren't you there to help people with the? No, can't. She goes, she's really sick. She needs something. No, can't come in. Then rings the hospital. He says, oh no, you got to go to the hospital. All right, rings the hospital. Daughter's really sick, kind of thing. Has she got COVID? No. Well, if you come here, she's going to get COVID. So no, don't bring her here. Yeah, and I'm just going, what the hell has happened to our medical system? What happened to it? If you're sick now, you can't go see somebody. You only go see them when you're well.
Yeah.
And it actually got that bad because she wasn't drinking that she ended up having to get a drip. She just ended up taking her to the doctors, and she goes, well, you have to see her. Oh, she needs something.
Yeah.
That's what that's what they're originally there for. Yeah. Oh God, it makes me so angry, this mob. I tell you.
They've lost sight of it. They've lost sight of what they're here for. But we could go down that little rabbit hole of they want us sick and all that sort of stuff, which is
that's another view. But and like you said, there's nothing really against them. But the thing is, their whole education is on what medication to give you.
Yeah,
like they do almost zero on nutrition, almost zero. Like if that's why you have to go to a nutritionist. But you think that the first question they say, well, what are you eating? Like, what are you eating that's making you sick? Nah.
You'd think so.
Let's just give you a tablet.
I could pick one health issue that I've done a fair bit of research on, diabetes.
Yeah.
Mate, they put you straight on insulin instead of fixing your diet.
Yeah.
They give you the tablet and say, fix your diet. And then when it gets really bad, they give you injections. But for mine, it's fixable without any insulin or injections.
Yeah.
Just like anything. And I've done a fair bit of stuff. I jab my finger and do my blood sugars. I'll go through a period where, again, it's a bit like the doctor thing. Should I test my insulin levels?
Or are you testing your insulin levels? Just because, or have you got a problem? Or
no, I don't have a problem. My dad's got diabetes, and
are you trying to manifest it into your life?
No, that's what I say. I jabbed it a few times to check it because my old man said, "Oh, I've got this spare gun. You should check yours."
Yeah.
So I checked it and it was perfect. And I went, "Oh, that's okay." Checked all my kids; theirs all fine. But where I've gone with my diet, that's encouraged the people around me to sort of follow suit with my diet. And my old man's got diabetes, and I know a few other people that have diabetes. So I love learning and I love reading all these sorts of things to, again, like yourself, help others.
Yeah.
The apprentice that I used to have, he had diabetes, and I used to say, well, look at what you eat. He eats bacon.
This is it diabetes too? Like one of the diabetes, you have to have the injection. You can't fix that one, but you can fix the other one. Is that right?
Type 1, type 2. That's correct.
Yeah. So is type 1 the one that's
Tablets?
and type 2 is the injection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't fix that.
Well, you can.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know much about it. I haven't really I've done almost zero research on the only thing is that Wayno, he's got diabetes, and he said to me, he goes, "Have you got any sugar problems?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, it's in the family." And because I wasn't brought up in his family, so I never got to manifest it. Like I didn't say, because no one in our family, Dad's family has diabetes. So I couldn't manifest that because no one has it.
And that's exactly true. Like
Yeah.
we'll have another discussion another day on Bruce Lipton's epigenetics.
Yeah.
And that will explain that comment you just made of you couldn't manifest it in your life because, one, it's not hereditary in the genes. It's you eat the same food, you do the same activities in your little petri dish. That's how you manifest in my way of thinking. And Bruce Lipton, just because your dad's got diabetes, the chances of you getting diabetes is not genetic. It's because you eat the same foods, you do the same things, and you think the same way.
Yeah. And what happens is, and this happens with girls a lot too, is that the mum's mum had cancer. So the mum's mum tells the mum, "You're going to get cancer, so you better check and see yourself." So yeah, she manifests, she gets cancer. Then she tells the young daughter, "Now you are going to get cancer." Well, no, not you're going to get it. You could get it because I've had it, mum's had it. It's in the family. It's run the whole way down. Everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So then you have to manifest it. Like the apple seed, like everyone has to burn this into their brain. The apple seed has to turn into the apple tree. So every time you create a seed, like it has to turn into it. Like it has to. And the more you go down the road of that, you're going to get it 100%.
The longer it happens.
The 100% you're going to get it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another story about the sick care system. So Dad goes to he has to get his license, right? He's 75. You have to get a doctor's certificate to say that, you're all well and you can drive.
Yeah.
And Dad, he hates the sick care system too. That's probably why I hate him.
You manifest it. See, that's
Funny
exactly
enough. Look who's ringing me.
Oh yeah,
Dad. I was just talking to Craig about before that when you think about somebody, and then they start thinking of you, and then you'll call them or they'll call you. And look at that, just right there.
I'll keep my phone here because my dad will ring me in a minute.
Yeah, he'll probably ring you. Yeah. So anyway, and he goes, "Oh, right, I have to go get a doctor's certificate." And all right, okay. And because he's never sick, and he hates the sick care system, he can't stand them. The white coats, he calls them, and because he gets white coat syndrome, he calls it, where get high blood pressure. And anyway, he couldn't get in to see a doctor because he had no history. They go, where's your history? He goes, "I don't have any history because I don't go to the doctor. I'm always well." No, we can't come in. So he had to search to try and find someone to take him to get the thing. So what happens? So he goes in to see the sick care professional. He's panicking because he sees the white coat. Yeah. And what do they do? Put him straight on a blood pressure tablets.
Yeah.
Blood pressure his whole life, never had no tablets, no nothing. Walks out of there with blood pressure tablets. I said, "Mate, why didn't you just wait and see and get your own little blood pressure machine and just check and see that if you do actually have blood pressure?"
Yeah.
Because I said that could just be because you were panicking because you've seen the white coat.
Yeah, well, and that's it.
But no. The doctor said I need it. Anyway, so now he's on that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, no good.
And I just went, "Oh, mate, whatever."
Plant a different seed in him.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's just enough. So he went from never been on tablets to nothing now, and because if he didn't have to go get a doctor's certificate to be able to drive, he would never be on these tablets.
Crazy, it's crazy.
Yeah. So now he's on tablets anyway. So that's just another story. So I'll get off that subject.
No, but it's true. It's relative. It's all relative. So I think we were around about.
We're talking about the diabetes.
Yeah, I just went in and I sort of study a lot of things because, like yourself, I want to help the people around me and educate myself. And it's a real interest for me. My long road of journey has been full of learning about health, learning about manifesting. My big thing is consciousness and self-awareness, or the ego, I like to call it, or false sense of self. But it led me on this journey of health. And post you planting the apple seed, that I have a healthy testosterone and my thyroid works beautifully. That was, in the way you describe it, planting the seed, and then you've got to go out and do the work.
Yeah, you've got to create the environment.
You've got to create the environment. But for me, I think the way that I describe it now, wasn't really aware of it then, but when you plant that seed, things, synchronicities and opportunities come in.
Do you think, Geoff, that because you've changed the program, right, that everything around that changes, so then your whole thought pattern changes, and that's why you start to get onto that journey?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then before that, you couldn't get onto that journey because you had a different thought pattern.
100%.
So that seed's created that whole. So that whole future now has been created with you having all these things. So then all these thoughts come in to your mind to say this is what you need to do, and then you start acting on it. Is that how you would say that would be the same?
Yeah. There's lots of sayings like unto self is drawn, or you attract what you are. So if you are of that health, like if your thyroid is a fully active thyroid, how do you get to that active thyroid? The type of foods that you should be eating can become present to your knowledge.
Yeah, and you start to want them. You start to crave them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's how it happened for me. Like, we did a few changes, and then I went and sat down and started doing research. Now, Dr. Google was one thing. So I started.
Oh, sorry. Go back to that lady. I remember she did something, didn't she? Did she give you a food plan or something? You remember the really good lady that.
The vegan doctor?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I went to a naturopath as well.
Naturopath. I thought you went to someone, they gave you like some good directions.
Yeah, little potions. And they did kinesiology with me to do that. They did the muscle testing.
Muscle test, see if it was good. Yeah, how good is it?
Yeah, it was good. I didn't really gel with this particular lady.
Yeah.
Because I still follow her now. But she's done some self-identification of herself. So she's had some childhood trauma as a woman or as a young girl. So her major focus is women.
Yeah.
And I went and seen her, went in and said, all right. She goes, mate, this is the best deal. Pay $1,000 now and I'll see you once a week for 6 weeks. So I went, yep, let's just do it, all in. But I never really gelled with her, but her main focus was women's health.
Yeah.
And I don't identify as a woman just yet. Right?
Are we allowed to say that? I was about to question it.
Are we allowed to even say that? This is a controversial website.
Mate, yeah. We can say whatever we want in our podcast.
Yeah.
I just say it how it is. People have to get used to that. I have no political correctness.
And the energy and the vibration that I was getting from her didn't really sit with me. So I went through
but that's fair to her, because if she's focused on women's health, obviously, you're bringing the man energy, and then she's just going, well, I don't really see men, but I'll help you. But that's good that she did want to help you though. She
didn't classify herself as just women, but all her programs are designed for women.
Yeah.
Like, she sees anybody, and I just went, it doesn't really sit, because I like to feel another person's energy and see if it's sort of a match, because if it draws you in, you're of like material or thinking. So it didn't. And I went through that process, and I thought it was good, but there was something off. So that's why I don't think it worked for me.
Yeah.
And in that process.
But did anything work, or?
Well, the potions that she did, I didn't really get a drastic change. That may have just been the initial.
It might have said, but in saying that, Geoff, we don't know, because like the manifesting journey. Do you think that it could have been part of it? Like you may have just needed one of those little things.
Yes.
For that journey, because with manifest, we don't know. Like, we don't know. Like I was saying before, say we put Sydney to Brisbane. Like we go through all the towns.
Yep.
But we don't know where those towns are or what they're doing. We're just following the map.
Yep.
And so we're the manifesting thing. So you're just in your mind, so all these thoughts that come in and then you act on them, but that's probably saying, right, Geoff, you need to go see this lady. She's got this certain thing, but you don't really know which one it is.
Yeah.
And then even though you're saying it didn't work, but maybe some of it worked, or maybe you needed a bit of it, or maybe it just
Just the
changed
action.
your,
Just the action of going to seek out some sort of other health alternative.
yeah,
That could have been it.
yeah,
And she put me onto kinesiology, which we use now, muscle testing. So there was a few things that she did which intrigued me, and I thought, well, there's something about this. But mind you, back then, because this is 5 years ago now, at the time I wasn't in this way of thinking.
yeah,
So I was still in the old program,
yeah,
getting these little snippets dumped in, going,
yeah,
what's this? But initially that was some of the things that needed to come in to get me to have an awareness to jump ship and think differently.
yeah,
So, and I think that's what it did, because there's been little pieces all the way along that come in and you go, oh, wow, this podcast will land, and you go, oh, that's what I really needed. And then, Tate will say something and you go, I really fully agree with that. We're on the same part. You get some confidence out of it, or you get some strengthens your beliefs. So, and supports where you want to be.
Yeah.
In your journey. So I started down that road. I went to the naturopath. She gave me some potions and some muscle testing, which then furthered me in muscle testing to see whether things are suitable for me or not. So that's one thing that I got out of it. But I didn't get the right feeling, so I didn't really probably allow those things to work. But they started me on this path of, well, what's in this potion? And this is the way I think about everything now. When I need some sort of physical help, or and I don't really get sick anymore. Well, I don't. I think, I had COVID because they told me I had COVID, but I really had no effects from it. They said, you've got COVID, and I stayed at home on the lounge for 7 days and watched Netflix and stuff, and went, I don't even feel anything bad. I don't feel tired, or I felt a little bit tired, and then I got a bit of a cough because everyone said, oh, did you get the cough? And then a week later I got the cough.
Yeah.
Pump it in there. So you do those things.
Yeah.
But it's led me down the path of whatever I think is that where I want my journey to be. Like, I am 80 kilos and I have a body fat index of 15% or less.
Oh, you're 15.
I want to be trimmer than you. That's
oh, right. Shit.
I've
made it easy for myself. I just went under 20.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of work. Because I looked into it, and I thought 17 is athlete.
Yeah.
So anything, but then I thought, wow. So if I want to become 17, what would that entail? Like, you still got to do. You have to become that person.
Yes, exactly.
And I went, oh man, no, I'm not. I'm not willing to be an athlete.
Well,
so then I just went a little bit. I said, so I'm in between. I said, I'm a little bit above. I'm not athlete, but I'm active. So I said, if I'm active, and so under 20% would be still a good level. Like, I did research. I went, under 20% body fat's still pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's why. Sorry, mate. That's why I did that. So I'm thinking, wow, 15. Jesus, that's a lot of work.
Oh, I haven't balanced for it yet, but all I did was, and that's the next thing, because when I looked into it, you made the suggestion. I sort of looked into it quickly and went, and I just found a scale when it says kids from 0 to 18, 8 to 12%, and they're sort of all these sliding scales. And I think for a 50-year-old bloke, it's something like 32% or body fat that you're allowed to have, which doesn't really sit with me.
32%.
Oh, this scale that I seen on Dr. Google had multiple age groups.
My God.
I went, well, where would I like to be? Body fat index. I'd like to be the body fat index of around 20-year-old person. And I remembered myself when I was 20, I had no belly fat. I was just, muscle and sort of skin with no body fat. And for me, I reverse engineer body fat, that if I've got any fat on the outside, my liver's fatty. Yeah. So for me, I want to be as trim body fat so that my liver's and my organs are in the best health they can be internally. And that's the way that I look at it. So how I want to be on the outside, I've got to be immaculate on the inside.
Yeah.
So whatever problems that I've had in the past, like my thyroid, when I started researching thyroid issues, I went to Dr. Google. I bought some books. Like there's a medical medium book there that's designed on thyroid. So I just researched all the foods that fix your thyroid or that have longevity for thyroid. So I wrote all them down: broccoli, cauliflower, eggplants, all this stuff related to thyroid. So I wrote them down and I went, well, those things that aren't in my diet now are going to come into the diet. And that's what I did. So when you plant the apple seed into there, everything that goes into make that apple tree grow was my thyroid was the seed.
Yeah.
So broccoli come into the
Yeah.
diet.
Yeah.
All those sort of things come into the diet.
Yeah.
And, you know, then one thing led to another and I'm researching this and I went, okay, well, what about testosterone? I need omega fats, I need protein, and I need this sort of stuff to rebuild. I need amino acids. So what foods do I get amino acids from and proteins? Well, salmon, avocados, bananas, potassium, all those sorts of things. So then I wrote myself a list of foods that fixed my testosterone.
Yeah.
And that's the path that I went down.
Yeah.
And I've got a book here with 1,000 pages in it. Well, not 1,000, but there's how do I fix that? Here's the foods. How do I fix that? Here's the foods. And then when I got to those foods, I sort of broke it down a bit further to what vitamins and minerals are required to fix your thyroid. So then I started researching supplements because to me that's an initial way to get it happening until you build your recipes and the way of eating to fix it naturally, just food. Because food be the.
I wonder if like and I don't understand it. Like, imagine if everybody like used that analysis, that, right, I've got this issue. Now, what food could I do to make it better?
Yeah.
Like that, but I suppose because it's the sick care system and, just give them a tablet. Like I don't know anybody that self-analyzes and to get off all this medication.
I don't think so. I there's a young lady that I had a chat with last night about what she was eating because we went out to our surf club to get together with some friends, and she was eating cheesy garlic bread with bacon on it, and I said, "Wow, that's not good for you." And she goes, "Yeah, but it tastes good." So my thing over the last 6 to 12 months has been, what's your mouth for? Your mouth's for to feed your body to live life. Don't feed your taste buds, feed your body.
Yeah, but I think, Geoff, that what's happened with society is that, because remember, it's not even that long ago, but maybe 20, 30 years, who knows? But we didn't have a lot of choices with food.
No.
Like all you had, meat and 3 veg. That was pretty well it. That's what you sort of ate every day. That was your sort of staple diet for your whole life. You didn't really, we didn't have all the box food that they got now.
No.
And I think that people's lives, like so many people, get their enjoyment out of eating food instead of getting their enjoyment out of living life. But they say living life now is going to the restaurant and eating food, but it's killing them.
Yeah, because they're eating for their taste buds.
Yeah.
They're eating for their taste buds.
But it's programmed. But you got to remember too that they spend hundreds of millions on manufacturing all these foods because they know what the human likes, and so they can make more money out of.
Yeah.
Irrespective if it's good for you.
Yeah. And that's the path that I've taken to support the balance and the belief changes that you instilled in me those days, because it's fine for you to do a balance and say, yes, your thyroid works, but then you go and eat bacon and egg burgers every day.
Yeah.
No good. That's not going to work.
No.
So that's what I adopted. And I sort of did.
So that'd be like going from Sydney to Brisbane, but then you start heading to Melbourne.
Yeah, first.
Yeah. So you're not going to get it. Yeah, you go the opposite way. You're not going to get to Brisbane. Anyway, keep going.
So that's what I've done, and that path led me down to a really inquisitive, really wanting to know about the human body, because everyone around me was sick with something, whether it was diabetes or cardiovascular, and I can't comprehend how we're such more knowledgeable society, but we're the sickest we've ever been. and you look at the food pyramids or the triangles, and they're just totally wrong. We're getting sicker and dying earlier and having more medications, and yet we're supposed to be smarter. So I've reversed that, and I've gone looking for. I actually not. I say gone looking for. I've opened up to other ways of thinking and other ways of eating. So
Get out of the box thinking.
get out of the box and find these people.
Craig and I did we've done whole episodes on the old box thinking.
Yeah, and it comes to usually the people that I find. The latest lady that I found is an Australian lady, Barbara O'Neill. She uses all these. She put me onto Celtic salt as opposed to Himalayan salt.
Oh, there must be something happening with that, because I know Kerry, we've got Celtic salt at home now, and she goes, "Oh, you need to have this Celtic salt. Apparently, it's really good for you."
Well, it's got 91. It's got 91 trace minerals, magnesium.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm always skeptical when I see things. Everyone's got the same thing. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'll wait and see. I'll wait and have a look for the evidence first.
But it's a money making thing, and for me, it came from this lady Barbara O'Neill. Is a complete. Well, I'll give you an example, and you'll probably go, "Oh yeah, this is going to work." Barbara O'Neill's a lady that started a retreat lots of years ago. I think it's around Kempsey or Taree. She does all natural herbs and remedies, and the Australian Doctors Association, whatever you want to call that big thing, they've just shut her down. So that would say to me,
"Oh, when?
If the health
just recently?
I think it was about 2 years ago."
Yeah, right. Because 60 Minutes just ran a thing on not a thing, a program on 60 Minutes, just aired only maybe a month ago, telling everyone how bad the alternate health is, and that it's a big scam. And
of course,
don't make sure you don't do it. And they did a big thing about it. Yeah, but well, everyone that's in the alternate. But what gets me with alternate, right? So anything that's been around for thousands of years, that's alternate.
Yeah.
But anything that's made in a lab that they've come up with in the last year or two, all good to go. Good to go. That's on the thing.
I seem to now stumble onto alternate because it's out of mainstream, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the real answers of things that are really going to work for me and my body and as a human being. So that's the way I went, and I just keep finding more helpful people along this process. And I think once I opened up to a new way of thinking that I have optimum health, things started flowing in for me, like documentaries. I've got a list of documentaries. Probably the first one that I found was The Magic Pill from Pete Evans.
Yeah.
And he went rogue, and he's fully rogue now, but see how they ostracized him as being a nut job.
Oh, yeah.
He's different.
Anyone that's where they can't make money. See, you can't make money from all this stuff. Like, how do they make money from broccoli?
Yeah.
Other than the farmer selling it.
That's right. It's got to be organic.
You can't make money out of it.
Yeah. Well,
the sick system would collapse overnight.
Yeah. And it's not easy because, well, I love it, but how many people love broccoli? Like, they love, what do you want, a packet of M&Ms or you want a bag of broccoli?
Yeah.
The M&Ms every day because for your taste buds.
Yeah.
So I started.
They do taste good though. I've got to say, the M&Ms.
Peanut ones. Yeah. If they weren't full of chemicals, they'd just keep eating them.
Yeah.
But I went down that road and I found a list of documentaries. The Magic Pill from Pete Evans, Game Changers was a really big one for me. That went into vegan and vegetarianism.
What about the word vegan? I hate that word.
Well, it's been stereotyped.
I don't like it because it's attached to a movement. Not a movement. No, not a movement. Not a movement. What do you call it? Like a cult. Like it's like a culty name.
Yeah, right.
I just like plant-based.
Yeah, well, that suits. And whatever makes some words have been bastardized, but for me, I just use them as in, vegan. They want to protect the animals and they don't have anything to do with animals. That's fine. Vegetarians are plant-based. Pescatarian, they eat vegetables and then they eat some fish. For a while there, when I went off track, I was a flexitarian because I was just flexible. I could eat this or someday and be that, and I could be whatever else. So whatever the name comes up, it doesn't really faze me anymore. with that, as long as I have optimum health. So everything that leads me down that path is what better assists me, like Celtic salt and Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts from Barbara O'Neill came along the other day and they said, you've got enough of this, this, and this, and all these minerals, and it's got magnesium. 5 Brazil nuts a day gives you the top of the tree in this part of your health. So I go, all right, I go and buy a bag of Brazil.
Yeah, that's because I must have seen something about it as well, because I started having 5 Brazil nuts.
Yeah. See,
oh wow, what's in it? But that's all you need.
yeah, 5 of them a day. So you do that,
and that gives you all that minerals that you need.
Yep, and that's what comes into it. So I went on a path of finding
selenium. Is it selenium?
Selenium, yeah, it is, and that's good for my thyroid. Selenium.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So what I did was, until I got my food plan and way of eating, like the vegetables and all the recipes, I went into what sort of vitamins and minerals and omega fats and all this sort of stuff. So I went, right. So I wrote down my food lists of the raw foods. And for the first 6 months, I'd do 2 nights a week raw. I would eat raw vegetables 2 nights a week.
Yeah, right.
So then I went, okay, this is good, but then I've got kids as well, and I've got to, allow for their way of eating and mine. And they've come on board, and they're predominantly plant-based at this house, and at the other house, their mother still buys them chicken and meat and all that sort of stuff, and that's fine. As long as I encourage them to eat while they're here healthy.
Yeah, I think it's not great being rigid in something. Like for me, being so rigid in being plant-based, but I think something happens in your brain and now I just can't eat an animal.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what happened. So I never did it for animals. Like I did it so I could manifest better, because I wanted to be a better manifester. That's the only reason why I did it.
Yeah, right.
But because it's to become more alkaline, you had to eat plants. And then I seen the longest living animals on the planet all eat plants.
Yeah.
Well, so I said, well, it's all right for them. But I didn't really care about the animals. Not that I didn't care about them, but I'd never thought about it.
Yeah.
But then now, oh man, when I go to a butcher, oh geez, it's just, I'm thinking, oh, those poor, it doesn't, it's really weird. And that's why I wouldn't recommend it to people now. It's just like, because if you once you get this mindset, you can't change it. Like I can't eat the animal.
And it doesn't digest in your body. Like meat takes 72 hours to digest, and plants take 4 hours.
Yeah, but I don't eat it. It's not even my health. Like I just can't do it. It's actually, I've turned into probably the vegan activist. But I'm not an activist at all. But it's just I just physically, and I've thought about it. And I thought, well, it's not going to hurt you, and I'm looking at it because Kerry has fish, has salmon, and she has a bit of chicken and stuff. But and I'm looking at it, I think, oh yeah, you could eat it, and I look, okay, nah, I can't eat it. Yeah. No, I just can't. I don't know. It's so weird.
Go back to any one of those documentaries that I've just sort of rattled off there, and you'll see how the food's manufactured and how the animals are grown, the pesticides, the poisons, and you think,
oh, it's so bad. Yeah,
I'm not going to touch it because that doesn't support my optimum health.
But even the plants, they were all pesticides and
I'm pretty much
genetically modified, and
and that's wheat. That's why
it's so hard, isn't it? Isn't it hard it's so hard now to have a healthy diet. I don't know if you can have a diet now where you have to support it with some sort of vitamins.
This is true because it's been fast tracked, fast grown, and genetically modified to be quicker to grow, quicker to produce, last longer, feed more people because we've got all these population issues. So it's incredibly hard. Some of those things, like for my children here, we have strawberries, blueberries, bananas, all this sort of stuff. And then you look at the dirty dozen, what's in it? Strawberries, blueberries, all this sort of stuff that's got chemicals. So I've gone predominantly now vegetarian. When I say predominantly, it's 95+% vegetarian, without limiting my glutens, no wheats, and now I'm going all organic because I watched a podcast 2 months ago where the guy on there said, I would never eat any fruit and vegetables that aren't organic due to the pesticide spray. So now
But
that's
you've got to be careful even with organic because Dean, he's a horticulturalist,
yep,
and he said that it only has to be a very small percent of to be classed as organic. You can still use pesticides
yep,
and all these things. You don't. It's only like in your head you think no pesticides, but he said it's. I don't know if in my head I'm thinking like 60% or 70% you can still use pesticides.
yeah,
And so you're thinking organic, you think no pesticides, but he goes, no, that's not correct. He
yeah.
goes, he reckons it's nearly no difference.
So for the way I look at that, what's out of my control is, and what you don't know doesn't hurt you.
Mm.
You don't want to just go, oh well, if they say that and you have this belief system. But for me, if I make the effort and take the action of sourcing the best products that I can, that supports my optimum health the best that it can be. It's just the best that it can be with all that I have there. So unless I grow it myself and do all those sorts of things,
Yeah, and really, unless you're into it,
yeah, and
unless you're into it,
the same with all my supplements.
yeah,
I buy half of my stuff from America, although Australia is becoming very good now with using not synthetic supplements like
yeah.
real mushrooms, ground mushrooms, or real wheatgrass and things like that.
Well, I've been running an experiment on myself for the last 6 months or more, maybe longer, maybe 8 months, with no vitamins, I just eat my food.
Yep.
And so I'm just because every year I've got all the blood tests, and I'm going to check it out and see if it's like if that's true. I don't know. So I'll know. I'll know.
It'll do something for sure.
Yeah.
Because plus your body gets used to it. So
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if any of my blood work is lower or higher or
yep.
Yeah. Because normally I'd have like a certain amount of supplements to just to keep in good health. But I feel good.
Yep.
But it's just you never know with your blood, so it's just sort of but it'll be interesting. I will let you know. I think ringing up to organise it soon.
All comes to I take everything back to the way I think about things and the way I have an intention for everything now. When I went out and bought I've had it for about 4 or 5 years now, a water machine that just purifies my water because chloride, fluoride, all that sort of stuff in the waters creates brain fog. So I went and spent whatever I did on the water. So for me, clean air, clean water, organic food, and really good thinking, good thoughts about it. I'm a little bit out there. I always speak to the water nicely. Thanks to the water for being so clear, so strong, always settling down, being calm. So I have all these intentions around food to support the optimum health. So it just keeps leading me down another path to improve the way I think about my eating, and then that limits how much.
Yeah, but you're in good nick now.
Yeah. Oh well, and like you, I changed every about 6 or 9 months.
Yeah.
I did the vegan thing for like about 9 months, but I went so full on into everything. Then I stopped all gluten. I had no sugar. I changed my water system, and I just ate vegetables 2 nights a week. They were raw. They were only cooked a little bit so that it didn't change the molecular structure of them. And I lost 15 kilos, and I was fine. Everything was absolutely perfect. I was fit, trim. Everyone's going, mate, you're getting too skinny, because 96 kilos down to 80 kilos was a massive change. And some of the doctor friends of mine said, mate, this is unhealthy. Don't do it so fast. Don't do all this sort of stuff. And I went, I'm just eating healthy food, drinking water, thinking good, and you're telling me not to do it?
Yeah, yeah.
So I went down that path, and then some meats sort of come back in, around about 5 or 10% meats come back in. Some breads came back in, and I noticed straight away I put on a little bit of belly fat, and I sort of did that for about 6 to 9 months, and I went off the supplements. So I went full on assault on everything, and now I've sort of come back and gone, well, I'll eat like this and have this. I'll drop supplements as you have for about the last 6 to 9 months. I've been off all the supplements now. I've just spent a couple of $1,000 and just restocked everything down to vitamin A's, B's.
But did you get tested before you went on just to see if you actually do need it?
No, I go on how I feel.
Yeah.
If I feel good and I've got heaps of energy and things like that, that's my indicator. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I really need. Like, to say my vitamin B's at 71 or whatever, yeah, it's probably worthwhile knowing that. But if I feel good, that's all I need.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I think that everybody, there's a very good, so I was about to say podcast. It's not a podcast. It's a YouTube TED Talk. It's a very good TED Talk on YouTube, and it says, what's the perfect diet? And it's a science bloke, and he does all these experiments. And then in the end, he says there is no perfect diet.
No.
But they tested all these people, and then everybody had a different reaction to the exact same food.
Yep.
And it come back that there's no perfect diet. It's because it all comes down to what you believe. If you believe that thing's going to make you sick,
Yep.
you're going to get sick. If you believe that thing that you're going to eat is going to make you healthy, it's going to make you healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every single thing comes back to your default program in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So plant some new seeds on how you want it to be, and then enjoy the road or the growing of that process that you want. You want to have optimum health, plant the seed, or you plant the seed in people, or the belief, or the balance, and then enjoy taking the action of finding all that good information.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's an exciting journey to be on that. I think that's what I found. I found this whole path that I've been on, mate. It's been that exciting because there's always something else happening. You go, oh, I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I could do that. Or, I'll test this and I'll test. Oh no, that doesn't work. Like it's constantly changing and exciting.
Yeah, and I've loved it. I still, unfortunately, the only downside for mine is my screen time on my iPad is several hours a day because I read a bit of a book and then I watch podcasts, and then this podcast will come in on health, and this one will come in on diet, and this one will come in on manifestation, and this one will come in on way to think. And it's just so exciting that people like yourself and the Bruce Liptons and the Simon Hills, that there's such a collective group out there that really have mastered it for themselves, and they're so willing to give all this good information to others to create a better life for everybody on this planet. So
we could all be living such a great life. This is what I'm trying to get across to people, that there's such an exciting journey out there.
Yeah.
But we've just been forced into this funnel down this road to say there isn't, because it's all comes back to control and money, those two things.
Yep.
And so, but all we have to do is just go, no, my life is important, and I want to do a bit of research for myself to find out about it. And use yourself as the test patient, because then you start, like you say, you can do a muscle test to see if that thing's good for you. And go, yep, do I need this? Yep. Do I need that? No. Okay. Well, I need more of that. So then you go down and do I feel better or worse? Yeah. That's it. Do I feel better or worse? Okay. I feel worse. Well, but the only thing is, when you do change something, there's a time period where you have to, like coming off a drug, it's like if you give up sugar cold turkey, man, you're gonna cop some serious withdrawals.
Get some cravings, stuff like that. But an example there is me changing my diet. I've always been a beach sprinter, and that. I've always been very fast, powerful, aggressive.
But I was always quicker.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know because you were behind me and I couldn't see how quick you were. But for me, changing to, like, some of my friends, one of my friends at the moment, he's on the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And he just eats meat and eggs all day, every day. And he's, oh, you're a veggie. How do you go with your energy levels? And I sort of said, well, before eating meats and all those things, the stamina was terrible. To being a vegetarian now, I haven't done it for a couple of months, and my thing is, you've inspired me this week to get back into it, because I've had a couple of months off through Surf Lifesaving. As of next week, I'll go back to my 7K soft sand beach runs.
Yeah.
So I run 7Ks in the soft sand, And I could have never done that before. When I was a meat eater, not that I really tried, but I had the mindset, I just didn't have the stamina to do it. So now, I walk up Mount Coolum and I walk up Mount Pomona and I do these soft sand runs and I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's like me. Like, I remember when we went to China and we had climbed the Great Wall, and it was like steep.
Yep.
I mean, the whole bus, I was the only person out of that whole bus. Everybody stopped halfway. I'm going, what are you all doing?
yeah.
We all stopped. I'm like, mate, come on, let's get into it. Walk up the thing. I don't know whether it's a food thing or it's a, I don't know.
It is. It's mindset and food. Mindset and food.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been a great podcast, Geoff, and welcome aboard for my new co-host on my second podcast for the week. And we'll have many more chats, no doubt, with manifesting and spirituality and all those things, because you're right into that. I'm more on the program side. I like to do things easy. I like quick. I like easy, and you like to get all into all the other road, and which is great for people that want to get down that road.
Yeah,
I think they'll get to learn all that. And
I'm a bit of a fence sitter, mate. I've got one in the spiritual realm and one in the let's get it done realm. And I just like to have those options.
Yeah.
And I think it's the interest and the love of knowing what is spiritual realm.
And it's whatever the journey is that you want for that time. And as long as it doesn't affect anybody else and you're enjoying it, that's all that counts at the end of the day. Well, thanks a lot, mate, and thanks for being part of the podcast, and thank you to everybody that is supporting us in this mission. Our mission is to empower the lives of 1 million people in 2023. It's a huge task, and we can only do it if you will join us in this movement. I'm giving you as much as I can totally for free. From next week, there'll be the Tibetan 5 rites if you want to come and use those. Craig's doing some special energy. He did say what it was, and I've forgotten already. So, and then Lisa's done a few things for the women, and so the men's project will start in a couple of weeks. So we'll have all the men's up and running, but not only the free section, but the rest program won't be quite ready yet. So we're nearly there for both programs, but the women's program, if the that's up and running from the 7th. So if any women want to come and join us for the 21-day mind enhancement program, you'll be blown away by what's possible for you, as Geoff's just told you about the seed planting. You still need to do the work, but it just makes life so much easier when you've got the right seeds. You don't have to worry about trying to grow an orange tree out of an apple tree, So anyway, thanks a lot, Geoff, and I will see you in the next one.
No problems. Thank you. Good luck, everyone. Stay healthy.